Hello, welcome to the Musically Challenged podcast.
Hola.
Hola, hola, hola.
My name's Julian, I created this shit, and the two people sitting beside me, if you want to introduce yourselves.
My name is Sam.
I'm Mike, this is my voice.
And we're all degenerates studying computer science and maths at Bath Uni.
Some people are more degenerates than others.
Slightly more.
I'm looking at Mike here.
Sam, mate. Sam, I drag you down with me. We're on a sinking ship together. And Julian is
I'm just trying
head of
to
the
steer.
mast. He's trying to steer us.
Yeah.
He's steered us towards his podcast. Now here we are.
Well, you
And
agreed
we're
to it.
already bringing this podcast down.
It's already off the rails.
Julian hates his life right now. I can see it. in his
My
eyes.
face is red. So this podcast is going to be us just talking about music that we like, because that's what we do anyway, and we thought, well, why not
Record it.
Talk rubbish.
other people
record
might
it,
be interested.
and put it on the internet.
Why not record it and torture other people as
Yeah.
well?
So if you're
'cause
offended by strong language and other assorted slurs,
degeneracies. Yeah.
then
Cunt.
feel free to just stop listening now.
Basically, the idea is we record super strong opinions and chuck it on the internet because everyone loves that.
Just everyone does
Being
love
offended.
Who doesn't love opinions on the internet?
Yeah, it's pretty sick, boy.
So let's start with you, Mike.
Yeah.
What do you like listening to above all else?
Above all else, I mean, we're recording in my room right now, and you
Yeah.
can probably see that I am a massive Radiohead fan
Yeah,
and a massive
okay.
Animal Collective
I
fan.
never would have noticed.
Those are my two top tier bands.
This is new to me,
Radiohead.
Mike. I've never realised that you like Radiohead before.
I can't help but I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. And Radiohead, I've been into Radiohead, like, they were the dawn of music for me. They were
Yeah.
the dawn. They were what incepted my music love. But this summer, alright, Julian over here, he's top lad, he's putting his podcast together. He got me interested in Animal Collective, and this summer they've become like top tier.
Just as good?
Almost as good.
Ooh.
I don't know. I need to listen to them for longer, form an opinion of every album. But I'm super into both. Super into both right now.
Sounds good, Mike. What about you, Sam?
Well, I would say that I pretty much can listen to any music as long as it's good.
Even pop country.
Oh.
Oh.
As long as it's not country.
Okay, fair
And as
enough.
long as it's not Death Grips, I'll listen to it.
Now we'll get to that in a later episode, Sam. We'll just save your opinions for that.
Right. What bands am I most
I think
fan
we can
of at the moment?
We can agree that all of us are have common ground on Radiohead, right?
We
Yes.
do have common ground already.
That's the most common ground.
I hate Radiohead, they're weird.
That's honestly sort of why I was talking to you, because I saw Radiohead on your laptop. I was like, you're a
Oh
lad.
right, yeah.
Like, during lectures, I was like, that's why we started talking music.
Exactly.
So that's our common meeting ground.
And it all went downhill from there.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Now here we are, degenerates.
So yeah, what were you saying, Sam? I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Can't even remember, to be honest. I
Favorite
was just trying
bands?
to work out what my favourite bands are at the moment.
What's the answer?
Ooh, I'm liking a bit of Kendrick at the moment.
Bit of Kendrick Lamar.
Loving a bit of
Bit of
Kendrick
Kendrick.
at the moment.
This boy over here
Hates. No, he's just
I
not
hates
a fan of
rap music in general.
I can't do rap. I'm sorry. I'll do
You are-
indie
You are
stuff.
racist.
I'm sorry.
You're
I'm not a
racist.
racist. I'll just
100%
listen to
racist.
my indie white trash. That's what I'll listen to.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah, I still think to an extent
Yeah.
some rap is still white trash.
Yeah, it is totally. There's
Maybe
there's
not
trash
Kendrick.
everywhere, no matter
No.
the genre. It's just my preferred taste is at the moment not rap. I want to get into
Get
it
into it, mate. It's
because you say there's good stuff there.
Oh, there is.
There is
I wanna
lovely
hunt for it.
stuff.
Yeah. So Julian, what about your fine self?
My fine self, my favourite bands.
Favourite
well, yeah.
bands,
So
yeah.
like, let's go through my god tier.
God
let's say.
tier.
There's Radiohead.
This is going to go on for a
Lad,
while.
this is why I love him.
There's a few.
This
Sam.
this
all right,
list
hold on.
is
All right,
gonna be long.
Sam. You will have your time to shine. Radiohead,
Shine bright like
Pink
a diamond.
Floyd. I'm
Good choice.
Pink Floyd as well.
I'm pretty sure
they were one of my
very
first ones
good.
as well.
Yeah, Pink Floyd, like the first band I properly fell in love with.
Same.
Got my boys Death Grips in there. They broke my prejudice against rap music.
Oh, okay.
They
That's like jumping in the deep end, really.
I wasn't
the
sure what to
first-
expect. That's the thing.
Death Grips.
It's not. It's the thing is, it's not like completely rap. So
No,
Death
it's
Grips
not.
you got to expect.
It's just
Blah, 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 blah. That's
it's
the
a
noise.
lot of shouting.
Yeah,
pretty much.
it's
It's
a lot
like
of-
barely rap at that point. It's
Their latest album's
it's,
more punk
it's
than
just
rap.
a very crazy man screaming.
It is.
Yeah.
So we got that. We've got Swans.
I like Swans.
I mean, yeah, you listen to what?
I like Swans.
A
I
little
did.
bit. You listen to their newer stuff, dude.
Yeah, I listen to Sia the whole way through.
Sia's
I need to
fucking
dedicate
great.
my time to more.
You need to like have enough time to listen to it in the first place.
Pretty much,
It's
yeah.
Long stuff, noisy, long stuff. And oh yeah, Bjork.
Bjork, you're a big fan of Bjork.
I'm a big fan of Bjork.
I'm sexually attracted to Bjork, but we'll get onto that another
We'll get
day.
onto that in the Bjork episode. All right.
In a later episode, you'll confess your love to Bjork.
Yeah,
And
well,
In a later episode,
we'll
Mike
put
and
on
I.
some scented candles.
Bjork, if you're listening, will you marry me, please? I'm really desperate. Bjork, please.
Bjork, if you're listening, reject Mike so he can get with me.
Mate, no.
It's already getting
Marry me
hot.
and make an album about it, please.
She is single.
Yeah, exactly. I know
Yeah,
she's
but
with Tom York.
She's
That's
got eyes
confirmed.
for Tom York. Mate, who would?
And
No,
Tom York's
no,
got an eye for
if-
her, and the other one's squinting.
She-
I'm sorry, Tom. I'm
Definitely
sorry,
does.
Tom.
If they actually get together and like
Do you reckon
have
they
children,
fucked?
they will have probably.
Yeah, I
But
think
if they do and they have children, those children will have like the best singing voices
they'll be
Yeah.
amazing.
ever.
Yeah, but they'll be
beyond
like
God tier.
so expected to make good albums.
I
that
don't know.
It's kind of like Willow Smith, where
Willow
it's like
Smith.
and Jaden. Like
Jaden,
Will Smith,
the
he's
dickhead.
a decent actor.
Most
you know,
charismatic
Shark
bloke.
Tale, it's a classic.
Yeah,
Shark Tale.
Shark
Shark
Tale.
Tale.
So, like, you expect Jaden Smith
To not be a
To be-
pretentious
to
twat.
to not act like a block of wood, and he does.
like
Actually,
like a
I'd
mirror.
rather have a block of wood in any film.
Yeah, I would.
Replace Jaden Smith. Like the one out of
So at least you got the
Eddie.
element of surprise there.
But how can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real?
That's a good
It's
point.
Top quote.
Okay,
Top
should we
quote.
actually get on to what we're going to talk
Yeah,
about?
let's
stop
talk some
talking about
music.
films.
So-
I've derailed this.
Mike briefly alluded to it earlier. Animal Collective.
Yeah.
Your most recent musical love.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
So-
peaked.
So let's talk about Animal Collective, Mike. Let's talk about their history. 'Cause I know it's a
I'm
band that you
not
want to
allowed
wax
talk
lyrical
them
about.
as well.
Wax lyrical. Well, for me, it all started with a recommendation from Julian to listen to their probably the most. I don't know if entry level is the right word, but their most popular album, which is
Yeah,
called
okay.
Merryweather Post Pavilion.
Lovely
It's-
album.
They're a very indie band, and they've
Entry
got a
level
particular
hipster trash.
sound.
Let's be honest, entry level hipster stuff.
Yeah, a
It's-
lot of people think extreme hipster when you mention the name Animal Collective, but the album Merryweather Post Pavilion is their most poppy, and it's
What
very
did you say?
most pop-y. You know, like
I don't know.
it is. I'd say.
Painting with is.
Painting with, yeah, but we'll get onto that. We'll get onto that whole history.
We don't discuss painting with.
Yeah, but it's
Not
considered maybe their magnum opus sort of thing.
I think so. It's got my favourite songs from them on it.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's what
It's-
got me into
It's
it.
definitely my favourite.
Yeah?
I'd say so.
Alright,
Though
that's
I've
fine.
only listened to 3
Yeah.
of their albums.
I've only listened to 3 of their albums, if I'm going to be honest, as well.
Yeah,
Well.
I've not fully dedicated myself to all of them, but that album is beautiful and I love it, and it got me into Animal Collective, and you know
It is
There's
a
no
won-
way back from there.
It's a
There's no
wonderful
way
time.
back.
It takes a little bit to get accustomed to it.
it
It
does.
was like 2 listens and then I was in.
Yeah.
I think the problem is when you start listening to it,
You don't know what to expect.
you don't know what to expect, and there's a lot of layers to the music, and it's like quite not overwhelming, but it is a little bit overwhelming. But
Yeah.
then when you pick out, I don't know, you pick out the good bits, and then you suddenly get used to it.
That's-
No, I like
You do.
your way of thinking.
No,
Mike.
that was my honest experience. That's
pick
when I
out
first
pick out the
listened
good
to it.
bits
Pick out the good bits.
and then get used to
No,
the
but
bad
then you
bits.
actually love all of it. No, you do. You get into it, and then slowly it like unfolds. That's the experience of Merryweather.
I think it might be worth saying that Animal Collective, like genre-wise, they're kind of like dreamy, psychedelic.
Yeah, dreamy
Rock.
psychedelic. They're very. The band is comprised of sort of 4 blokes. 2 of them are very strong vocalists. You
Yeah.
know, one's quite angelic voice. That's Panda Bear, and
AV Tear is the screamy.
yeah, he's
Death
got
Gripsy
a
one of the
yeah, he's
crew.
got a Death Gripsy scream voice sort of going.
I'm not sure I can imitate his.
Yeah, and then we got Geologist
Please
laying
don't.
down crazy beats, crazy
He does.
tunes, and then there's a guy called Deacon who appears every now and then. He's in and out of albums. So those are the 4 guys, and you know they are the Animal Collective, and they're beautiful. I love them.
They're wonderful people.
So they released a new album this year.
They did.
They
They released a
did.
new album this year.
Yeah.
Painting With. It's one of the first albums I listened to this year.
Really?
Came out in January, I'm pretty sure.
It
Might
was
have been
quite
February.
early. Yeah.
But regardless, how did we think it stood up to Merriweather?
It's patchy.
It's patchy. It is patchy. I'll
It's
admit.
got some good tunes, and well, when I first listened to it, I was like, "This is absolutely horrendous." Like some of the like, there's some good tunes in there, but like some of the tunes, there's just like vocal tracks on top of vocal tracks on top of vocal tracks,
Yeah.
which are not in sync with each other, and like sometimes they sync up, which is when it gets good. And then there are just songs where they don't sync up at any point, and you're just like, "What am I listening to?"
Yeah.
Just a big mess.
And the
But-
problem is you get an overload of that.
But when we saw them live,
We went to see them live.
we went to see them live.
We did indeed.
This summer.
When we saw them live, I kind of sort of appreciated the multiple vocals more,
Yeah.
because to be honest, up to that point, I just thought it was one guy. So when I realised it was two different people
Yeah.
singing, like they hadn't just recorded two voice tracks and like,
layered them weirdly.
layered them
Yeah.
weirdly. It was two people weirdly
It's like call
layering
and response,
different
Yeah.
sort of thing.
vocal tracks in at like real time.
in real time.
Yeah,
it's
It's
very
like
impressive.
it's more
It's,
impressive.
yeah, it is.
than-
It's intricate, isn't
Yeah.
it? And yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I appreciate it more after that. On the train back, I was listening to it and I was like, yeah, this is actually pretty good.
You get into it, yeah.
And
Takes-
my issue with it, like you said, multiple vocal layering. Animal Collective have done that before.
Yeah,
It's just that it became just a little bit of a gimmick.
it does.
Yeah.
And on
On
this
Painting
album,
With.
you get it song after song, and
after
it
song,
feels
yeah.
like it burdens the album down.
Yeah.
Pulls it
I
down.
noticed that artists nowadays are tending to like release a few singles from an upcoming album in order to
Yes.
get people hyped for it, obviously. And
Yeah.
I still feel like they released the three best songs
Yeah,
from the album in the lead up to it. Floridada was the first one they released.
yeah.
Great song.
Good
Love
song,
it.
good song.
I'm
Probably
just
my
trying to.
favourite on the album, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd probably still say so. Although
I prefer others
Was it the second or third one? The second one was Lying in the Grass. The Lying in the Grass was one that I really, really loved at first because Panda Bear and Avite were doing their back and forth kind of call and response type vocals.
Yeah, and that was sort of
Um,
semi-new at the time-ish.
Yeah,
That was
semi.
the new sound.
It didn't sound like as layered as some of the other stuff they've done in the past.
It was
Yeah.
just sort of like, ooh, this is a nice idea for one of the tracks.
Yeah.
And then they released the whole album.
They released the whole album.
and it
But
was all of the
in
tracks.
between Lying in the Grass and the full album, they released Golden Gals, the third single.
Golden
And
Gals,
that's
right.
running it close for my favourite song on the album.
I think that's
very
my
good.
favourite.
Because it's really catchy, it's really memorable. There aren't as many layered vocals.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the synths on that song. Just
It is
gorgeous.
It's golden. It's a golden gal.
It's a golden
Synths are
song.
golden. They're really warm. They're nice.
yeah.
It's got that nice sort of relaxed summery feel to it a little bit. It's very fun.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of feel with Floridada, where it's just sort
Yeah,
of
it is.
happy.
It's happy.
It is
yeah.
happy.
It's
That's
very
why I
happy.
listen to
Yeah.
Animal Collective.
It's good.
Yeah.
And after a lot of their other albums they've got, this sort of the appeal of like Animal Collective for me. I've just got to say this quickly is that they've got this very sort of like free feeling about how they do music. Like they just sort of they get up there and they do their crazy dance, their crazy singing. They do their like free flowing thing. It sort of feels like Discovery when they do an album. They're like discovering stuff.
Uh-huh.
They're like exploring what crazy sounds they can do, and they're just sort of getting into it. And this album feels quite a lot like that. The only problem being, again, bogged down with all the vocals,
Yeah.
vocal layers.
Although there are a couple of others when the film got released that you liked.
See, the way that I got into this album, Painting With, is I picked out a few songs and listened to them on their own without being in the album.
Yeah.
And that way you don't get that feeling of being bogged down. You get to hear the layers more, you get to appreciate sort of
That's understandable.
what's going on.
So you just like listen to them over and over and over.
Yeah, so that was the case with a couple of tracks. For me, it was The Burglars and Vertical. I really liked those when I took them out on their own. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-bum. Yeah, it's so good.
Vertical was weird. That was the point in the album when I was first listening to it where I was like, do I really want to keep listening to this?
Yeah,
Well,
that's
there's stuff
all-
about the parking lot being way too hot or whatever.
way
that
too
line
full or
was.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh no, I like it.
Bizarre
I like
lyrics.
it.
But apart from that, I really can't remember that much of the rest of the album.
No, it's
It pains me to say.
There's recycling at the end, which it follows.
Which
on from
just
Golden
sounds
Girls.
like it's the exact word I'd use to describe the album.
Yeah,
Just recycle the
it
same
is.
idea.
Yeah,
it is a bit
very
forgettable.
much. Yeah,
But hey,
yeah. Hey.
that's Animal Collective, past and present. Let's talk about the gig.
Yeah, I was gonna
Ooh.
say we went to a gig and we need to discuss the beauty that was the
We
gig.
need to discuss. So they played a few songs from Painting With.
Yeah, they did.
start
That's
off.
what they're touring for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Still,
there's
however many months later.
well, you know.
So that was interesting. Like well, what was one of the ones they played? They played one called Natural Selection from Painting With, which I
did
didn't
Natural
remember
No.
from the album. So I was it was
Yeah.
almost like listening to it again for the first time.
Yep.
That was the thing. At that time, I barely listened to Painting With at all. So it was almost like I was just hearing new songs, and as well, like the way they did the gig was they barely ever stopped and said, "Okay, here's a song, on to the next song."
Yes.
They just
They
transitioned from song to song.
Like
to
they
song.
did 5-6 minute
Yes.
weird warpy synth transitions.
No, but
between
it was
songs.
great.
They
And
were great, yeah.
the
They
transitions
were
were so
very
good.
Transitions.
And Avi Tear would make like some amazing vocal noises just to transition. Like,
yeah.
He would keep
He
going
was-
with crazy vocal little snippets that
was
he would
really
just
funny.
stretch out over.
Do your best
transitions.
impression then, Mike. Come on.
On an Avi scream.
A nice
He's-
Like that, yeah, basically. It's just
Pretty much.
super high pitch, but it's
Yeah.
not high pitch, but it's
They had
really
bit
they had
mental.
Really
weird like
guttural.
psychedelic projections on a couple of
they
like,
did on a
screens
couple of
to
the
side.
walls. Yeah,
That was good.
But it was, yeah. So I just sort of, for that first bit where they were just playing Painting With songs,
Yeah.
I couldn't really pick out which bits were the songs and which bits were the transitions. So
Yeah.
it was just a really cool experience.
It was.
It
It
was
was quite
just
It
cool.
was an experience, yeah.
It was like 30 minutes or so of just like music.
Yeah, it
and
was.
noise,
And there was no like,
I
oh, we're
liked
doing
it.
this track now. It was
Yeah.
always like, I'm just gonna keep going.
and it was so cool because we got quite near the front.
We were right at the front.
We
We
yeah.
were
right
right
at
at the
the
front,
front, so-
right in front of Avi.
So we just got to watch them just fuck about with all the synths
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
And just watch them like go crazy with all
Pretty
different
much.
wires, like
Yeah.
trying to make a coherent sound.
He did.
Yeah,
They did.
yeah. I'm saying
They pulled it
Singing
off.
voice is
they
still pretty
achieved.
good.
They achieved making
Yeah.
a coherent sound, which it looked very complicated. So I was very
It did.
impressed.
It did. And it sounded quite similar to the album, the Painting With album. With the exception that Avi's vocals were quite dark on certain songs.
Yeah,
Would you
they
say?
were.
He
Flo-
did
Floridada, he toned his voice down.
He did. Yeah.
He kind of went floor.
Yeah, you went like
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. It was really good to experience.
Now, right, just before the encore, they played "Summertime Clothes."
Yes. Yeah.
One of my all-time
Ooh.
favourite Animal Collective
Summertime
songs.
Clothes was great.
Yeah, that was.
It
Go on,
was-
Sam. First time listener. Come on, explain.
Oh, to be honest, I think out of the set list, my favourite was Daily Routine
Yes.
Because-
We'll get onto this.
because of the chord at the end.
Oh, Panda.
They just
Yeah, Panda Bear.
like
He knocked those vocals out the fucking park,
Yeah,
didn't he?
He did. He did.
If
They were
you-
My God.
amazing.
if you've not listened to Daily Routine, basically at the end there's just a sort of, it goes a lot slower and there's some heavy chords, and
Yeah.
when they got to this slow bit they went even slower, and they sort of held one chord and the guy kept doing
Panda Bear. Yeah.
Panda Bear kept doing his note.
the vocal like lead into the chords, but then he'd just like go back and like loop and loop and loop until the chord actually finally hit,
It was
and
so
it was
good.
glorious.
His
It was
vocals were
amazing.
amazing. They were so good live.
It was like when that chord hit, a light shone down. I look up, I saw God. I was just like, yes.
Yeah, we could.
Saw God and his
I would
name
love
was
to.
Panda.
Have, I would love to have recorded it,
I
but
saw
honestly,
God.
I was too awestruck.
Yeah.
we
I
were
saw
just.
God, and he looked a little bit like Anthony Fantana, and he went, he went.
He went,
That's a
"You're
strong,
Strong 10.
That's a strong 9.
strong 10, strong 10.
Strong enough right there.
It's beautiful, yeah. So to give you a heads up, basically, Daily Routine and Summertime Clothes are both off of the album
Merriweather
Merriweather,
Post Pavilion, yeah.
and they sort of get the best crowd reaction when they're about to play them because
Yeah,
they're
it's the
very
most
popular
popular,
Because
songs.
everyone knows them.
Which is why it's amazing when they do Daily Routine halfway through the first first bit of their act, and
Yeah.
Panda's really stretching out his, his vocals,
He was-
and we all just stood there like, oh my god.
Oh, he's gonna snap now. He's
This
gonna
is-
lose it now.
Yeah, no, he didn't though, and
He
we were just
didn't.
experiencing this noise. It was beautiful.
It was.
Yeah,
Got some godly pipes.
godly pipes, godly
Belting out.
guttural pipes. That was beautiful. I love a bit of guttural pipes. Guttural piping.
Guttural.
I don't know. Well, that's
Guttural is
Avery.
like death metal
Yeah.
vocal.
Yeah, that's
To be fair, it's quite angelic. His is angelic
Yeah.
and Panda's, which is why it works with Avies, which is more guttural.
Let's go back to the start of the gig now, where
Yeah.
there was a guy walking around with some mixtapes.
There was a
Mixtape,
mixtape.
boys. We got a mixtape.
We got it right here. So this is a band called Native Ray,
Yep.
and there was a guy. I don't know if he was part of Native Ray
This is
or
how-
whether it was just
He definitely was.
supposed. But I reckon he
Definitely.
probably
He was. He was one of the band members.
He was.
To be honest, looking at the album artwork, shall we say?
The album
which is-
artwork here, it's the word Native Ray and kind of like
And then some
double
crayons.
thickness Sharpie and then
It's
some
Sharpie, yeah.
some weird psychedelic colours in the background scribbled. They hand drew all their album artwork
Yep,
because their
with
printer
Sharpies.
broke,
So
which
they're,
is
so they're not
admirable.
exactly on a high budget here.
No.
So I doubt they got like a salesperson to walk around some random gig.
There you
and
go.
give out
On the
CDs.
back, you got the track list. You got 9 songs here. The style very similar to Animal Collective.
Yeah, yeah.
Native. I shouldn't give out that email address, but Native Ray saying, "Find us online, mate."
Find us
I
online.
did. I found their Bandcamp. They got one song there.
Yep, one of the ones from the album.
The first song on the album,
First song.
"Talking's a Pain." I have to say that my favourite song from it was, I think, it was either "It's Only" or "In Between," which is track 4 or 5, and it was kind of like an 11-minute track, which was kind of a trip.
It is a
I've-
trip.
I've yet
It
to
was
listen
quite
to the
good.
mixtape.
You know, I
was not
have
given
high
a
hopes
CD.
for these guys.
Yeah,
so
do you know what? I will follow them because it's really cool. If
Yeah.
you're such a hipster. You're there at the Animal Collective gig. Someone's like, "Dude, have my mixtape." But like, "Oh yeah, we'll take some."
To be honest, the only
And you
reason
follow them the whole
we
way
took
through.
those CDs was because we thought they were handing out free Animal Collective CDs.
I did at first too.
Yeah.
Because they came up behind us and they were like, "Oh mates, do you want some CDs?" And we were like,
Oh yeah, are they
"Yeah,
free?
we'll
Yeah.
have some
But-
CDs,
but we
Animal
didn't-
Collective CDs," and then we got
We
handed.
didn't know about.
We got
Check
handed
out my
this.
mixtape, fam.
Yeah, we got
Dude, check out my mixtape.
we got a flipping envelope with some crayons,
Crayons.
That's
Native
Sharpie.
Ray,
Come
written
on.
in Sharpie. No,
And it's got a little stamp on the back, a little purple stamp.
Grandma
It
approved.
says Grandma approved on it. So we've fallen in love with this crazy mixtape.
Hey, grannies.
Yeah. What would you?
Some trippy stuff.
Me and Julian have listened to this. Sam has not,
I
but
have
he just loves the meme of it.
I'd listen to more music by them.
I would as well. Yeah, I would. It was slightly forgettable. That's the problem.
I think there's
but
like
it didn't sound bad at all. It
they're
did not
wearing
sound bad.
their Animal Collective influences like a little bit too.
Yeah, quite
Obviously.
strongly. Yeah, they were.
There's plenty of Panda Bear's solo album from last year. Panda
Yeah.
Bear meets the Grim
Meets the
Reaper
Grim
or
Reaper.
whatever.
Yep.
Very average.
Yeah.
But it sounded a lot like that.
Yeah, that's
So-
their vocal style is very similar, and then
Yeah.
they've got the electronic-y bleeps going on, and
Definitely.
the synths laid down. It's a very similar sound.
Should we briefly mention the opening act that night as well?
It can do, yeah. Go for it.
Rattle. So Rattle was the opening act, and there's these two girls who both played drums,
Yep.
and they both had a microphone to sing. That was
Yes.
it. So
It was very strange.
it was hypnotic almost.
It was.
It was really hypnotic.
Yeah.
It did get to the point where sometimes it got a bit boring,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
I felt there was like
Considering-
there was a surprising amount of like soul in it,
Yeah, there was.
just for two
yeah,
drummers.
especially the bass drum sort of going off.
Yeah.
they played really in sync though.
Oh, they do.
They
yeah,
didn't
do.
miss a
They've
beat with
obviously
each
been
other.
playing for like years together. They know each other very well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the only thing I would say was the lyrics, like
It was
It was-
Gregorian
it was-
chanting.
yeah,
let's
it
be
was,
honest.
it was
It
a,
was-
it was
it
a
was.
mix between like not singing at all and like weird voodoo ritual music.
yeah.
So if you ever need to sacrifice a goat,
With some drums going on.
just get yourself one of their albums.
Well, I haven't listened
You'll
to
have
that
a
album
great
yet.
time.
Yeah.
I still haven't found them on Facebook because there are loads of bands which have got like the word rattle in their name.
Oh really? See, I wanted to listen to an album. I haven't done it yet because I'd be interested to
I
see
haven't
what their drums sound like on an album. Whether they like
Yeah,
embellish
that's
them
true.
a bit
Because they were
or
pretty punchy. Like having two drummers at a live gig. I mean,
you
it's
feel the
gonna-
punch
you
of it.
feel,
yeah,
exactly.
which is why it was good. Yeah. So I'd be interested to see how that sort of comes across on a live album. Well, not live album, on an album. Yeah.
All right.
So that sums up the gig, I think.
That does pretty
Overall,
well.
fun time. It was
Great
so
time.
good.
I had a
Best music
really
I went to
good
see this
time.
summer.
Yeah. Just say as a last note, like when I go to see a gig, I don't really want just to like stand there and have the like artist come out and be like, here are some of our songs, and play them really well and then walk off, because
and just like replicate the studio.
Yeah, like just like if I wanted that, I can just go on Spotify and stick your songs on shuffle, mate.
Yeah.
Like, but that's what was really cool about
other
this.
Music streaming services are available.
Yeah, I'm slightly biased. So I got Premium Boys.
Yeah.
But but that I found really cool was that it wasn't just listening to the album.
Daily
they
Routine, the best
properly like switched it up and made it more than just listening to their,
and they made it a
music
cohesive like experience, because you know those transitions.
Those transitions.
And again, like just seeing Panda Bear do those crazy vocals on Daily Routine, like that is that's gonna stick with me. That was an experience.
That single chord.
One of those beautiful live moments where you're just like, oh my god, everything is perfect.
When I'm old and I start losing my memory and like I can't remember my family's faces anymore, I will remember two things.
Yeah.
And that is that one chord and the lyrics too. That's Not Me by Skepta.
Because of Fresh as Me.
Because of Fresh as Me. I've heard that so many fucking times.
That's not me. Jesus Christ. Well, I'm just gonna have just sing the set mode in my bed.
Etc.
Yeah, etc. That's what it was like. Those are
the
the Daily Routine vocals, and that is going to stick with me. That's the takeaway thing from that gig.
Yeah,
I'd say.
Yes.
I think we've done it justice.
Alright, so should we talk about clipping now, Sam?
Yes, let's talk about clipping.
Clipping. Just give us an introduction to clipping.
Okay, so clipping are a experimental rap group consisting of 3 members, one being the god, David Diggs.
MC David Diggs.
Don't know the other 2 guys.
And 2 blokes.
And 2 other blokes who make good beats.
Jonathan Snipes, I think, is one of the guys, and I think William Hudson is the other. I might have mixed up the first names and last names.
I'm just going to like smile and nod and be like, yeah.
That's me the whole way through this segment, smiling and nodding because I've not listened to any clipping.
We are pitching to you why you should listen to
this.
Clipping.
Is a pitch.
That's what we're doing.
This is a sales pitch.
Go for
We're getting ready for our careers next year.
So, way back when, in 2013, Clipping released their debut mixtape. Mid-City.
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 Followed by
Clipping
like
without any vowels. That was their like proper commercial debut in 2014.
And then Wriggle
was an EP that came out early this year.
Yep, that was wonderful. And Splendor Misery, which is their most recent album, has been... When did it get released? Like a month ago?
I don't think it was even that. Was it 9th of September now? So that is
pretty much
almost 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah. And basically what Clipping are an experimental rap group where it's more experimental in terms of beats. The beats are sort of
noisy.
Very noisy, and the samples are quite strange, and they're but the rapping is more sort of bog standard.
Although that's not doing David Diggs any justice.
No, but he's a fantastic rapper, but he's rapping about the kind of stuff, at least on things like Mid-City and Clipping.
Yeah.
He's rapping about just
hood shit.
Exactly.
The hood.
To be precise, to use the scientific term.
Ridiculously fast as well. Let's not.
I was going to say, that's what he's known for, right?
Yeah.
That's why,
man.
He's just mad.
I mean, was that why he was cast in Hamilton?
Probably not, but I think he definitely like got picked for certain characters because he also appeared in a Broadway show, Hamilton, which is sort of a mix of rap and musicals.
Won the Tony Award for it.
Won
Best lead actor or whatever.
Yes, but
Props.
he played 2 characters. He played Lafayette with a very, shall we say, slightly offensive French accent, and
best lead actor.
Oh, who's the other one that he played?
Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson. That's it. Yep.
I haven't actually seen the musical.
I haven't seen it. I've listened to the soundtrack maybe like 20 times at least.
Apparently it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I've heard it's good.
Yeah.
So there it goes. Bit of backstory too.
David Diggs is a busy lad. He makes musicals.
He's a good.
He's done a Hamilton. He's done the Wriggle EP this year, and he's done Splendor Misery.
Yeah.
Well, Hamilton was more last year.
Well, it was a bit last year, yeah.
But he's a busy boy, is what we're saying. But yeah, we're going to mostly discuss Splendor Misery, which
I'd first like to interject here and say that from that EP they released earlier this year, the title track Wriggle,
song of the year,
still song of the year. I'm waiting
good.
on Danny Brown's new album to convince me otherwise, but so far clipping.
If you want to get into clipping, Wriggle is probably the first song you want to listen to. Then the entire of clipping, and then the rest of Wriggle, and then if you're really into them, go for Splendor and Misery.
Top recommendation.
Mid-City. If you like listening to like harsh noise, then go for Mid-City. That's where the harshest noise is. Yeah.
Noise.
It's almost just like pop rap and gangster rap, but just a bunch of noise.
Yeah, it's
randomly.
It's good fun, but it's very harsh.
It's tricky to listen to. I'll give it that.
A lot of the music we listen to is tricky to listen to sometimes. That's a heads up.
Yeah.
We are not considered normies. We don't consider ourselves normies.
I'd say
we consider other people normies.
No.
We're true patricians.
You two consider me a normie. Because I listen to like Arctic Monkeys and
that's
people.
We're saving Arctic Monkeys for
We'll save that for another debate, because it will be a debate.
Yeah.
So let's talk about...
Turner, if you're listening, please marry me.
Tom York, can you please marry me as well? We can have like a dual relationship thing, me, you and Bjork, please. It would be beautiful.
You want to have a threesome with Bjork and...
I would. I honestly would. I want it. They're all single. They're all single. It works so well.
Mike, calm yourself.
I'm sorry. That's the image is in my head. Go on.
To be honest, Tom York could do that though. He could do 2 relationships at once because he can.
Easy.
He can look 2 ways
in one place. It's wonky eye.
They both say, "Look me in the eye."
Yeah, he could
split concentration.
He's flipping but one would have to like bend down a little bit.
Let's give a bit of backstory to Splendor and Misery though. So this is taken from clipping's Bandcamp.
Little bit of backstory.
This made me laugh when I first heard it because I thought it would be a bunch of nonsense by the end when you actually heard it.
Splendor and Misery is a concept album, and the story it's based on is a little wacky.
It is a little wacky. So here we go. Splendor and Misery is an Afro-futurist dystopian concept album.
Whoa.
That follows the sole survivor of a slave uprising on an interstellar cargo ship, and the onboard computer that falls in love with him.
Yep.
Now that is an album pitch.
That is an album pitch. And I'd be pretty hard pressed to find many people who could pull it off. But
they did.
Elaborate.
Album of the year.
Album of the year.
Full opinion. Album of the year.
Album of the year. It's so good.
Okay.
It's sort of I'm a sucker for sci-fi, and this like gives in like loads. It's the beats are really like trippy and give the feel of like being on a spaceship. That's the whole point of the album. Is all the beats are supposed to imitate the sounds of the ship.
Yeah.
Or most of them at least.
All right.
So and then David Diggs is either being the slave,
he's playing that character,
or the computer who is rapping to the
beats
the beats of the spaceship because they've got nothing else to rap to.
Yeah.
So it's like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but like rapping and involving slavery.
A little bit
slavery, a little bit rapping, a little bit hitchhikers.
And like he goes off into space because he doesn't want to go back and become a slave, and then goes insane. I think
he takes control of the ship.
Yeah.
Spoilers. He takes control of the ship.
Major spoilers.
And then what did the onboard computer do after all this?
Falls in love with him. As you do. As all.
It happens.
As all onboard computers do.
So track 3, All Black, is after a couple of intro tracks.
Yeah.
There's a kind of a gospel-y kind of intro, and then there's the bit where he kind of paints the whole picture in a track called The Breach.
Yeah, and that's when David Diggs goes mental, just like flipping rapping at the speed that he does.
Speed of light.
Starts having these like big delusions of grandeur about the all black everything, which is his way of referring to space. And towards the end of this song, All Black, the computer starts
falling in love
with him. So as we get to the end here, the outro says, "Warning, mothership reporting. Cargo number 2331, which is him, is not a danger. Let him be." The computer was at first going to, charge him down as the front man of this slave uprising, but then the computer's like, hold on.
I like
mothership reporting. If you continue
hot.
if you continue to pursue, there will be no choice but to destroy you. And then I know your favourite lyric on the album. Warning, mothership reporting. This love will be defended at all costs.
Do not fuck with it. Favourite.
Just the most uncomputerish thing to
that's
say.
why I love it.
That's
great.
Cool.
It's great.
Cool.
Yeah, it's Clipping are known for they do have good lyrics.
They do.
Good storytelling.
Good storytelling, yeah.
The lyrics are kind of black and white for a lot of people, though. Like, I know, like as I can tell here, you love their lyrics.
I do.
You absolutely adore them. But there are some people who think, maybe not with Splendor Misery, but with their previous albums, where a lot of the lyrics were your standard kind of drug dealing and more traditional rap content. Like, people kind of didn't like the juxtaposition of the weird experimental beats and the standard kind of mainstreamish lyrics. Whereas now, it's all gone.
It's all gone out the window.
It's all gone out the window. Exactly.
All experimental.
Straight out into space.
Yeah. So
into the all black everything.
Yeah.
So the thing with Splendor Misery, there's a lot of interludes on it.
There are.
And guys, that's probably because there's a story to be told, and if the songs were all really disconnected, that wouldn't work.
So two of the interludes are the slave rapping, just like the first time I heard it, I thought he was in the shower rapping, but I think it's just a bit static to like give a sort of like broken down aesthetic of the ship and aesthetic. That's probably the biggest word I've used today. I'm very proud of myself.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, and then the middle interlude is like this computery voice sending a message in like military.
Yes, in Noto speak.
Yeah.
Damn.
And when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh, that's cool." It's sort of still playing with the motif and sort of getting you into this vibe. Little did I know that it's actually an Easter egg. If you write out what it says, it's just nonsense. But then
You
in a later track, David says like one of the lines just out of nowhere is like, the keyword is Kemmer, that's what your ass needs, which you then use to decode this like bit of babble, and it's like something. What does it say?
It's something that relates back to one of the tracks on their previous albums.
Yes.
One of the story tracks.
Oh my god, there's an overarching story, lads.
Is it? Or is it?
I'm pretty sure it's that.
No, the other one is because there's also another message in a later song.
Oh, that's the Morse code,
which is Morse code,
right?
Which then gives context for the story songs. Which, if you haven't listened to Clipping, they have in every major album that they release. So
excluding Wriggle, because it's only an EP.
Yeah, there's not one in Wriggle, but they have a track called like Story and then a number. So they've got Story 1, Story 2. Then in Splendor and Misery, they released Story 5,
which we'll get onto in a sec.
Yeah. So, and David's saying like as he releases more albums, all the stories will come together and you'll understand what's going on.
It's gonna be good.
Because
pretty cool.
When Story 1 and 2 are
they're kind
at
of
least at the same
themselves.
time. They are, and they're seemingly unrelated. But I'm guessing as time goes on and you hear all the other stories, they will link together. And some people are saying like all the stories take place in communist Russia during like the Cold War, stuff like that. And
these people on the subreddit, right?
Yeah,
speculation.
r/it's clipping bitch, because that's what they say at the start of most of their albums. Can't forget that.
Followed by harsh noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speculation and misery.
They do like to
subreddit.
They like to look very far into things, don't they?
They do.
That's always fun though.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. Is that sort of added to the album for me. Is like it's a really cool album on its own, and then they put in these like really cool Easter eggs just in the tracks. I thought like they've obviously put a lot of work into this thing.
Yeah,
and I respect that.
I respect that.
I respect that.
So talk about the album as a whole. Is it the concept that kind of blew you away at first and still sticks with you, and that's
I
why
would
you think it's
say-
so good, or is
I'd
it?
say the concept
everything?
is like concept's a little like goofy,
Yeah,
but the fact that they pulled it off, and two, like they've managed to, like this sci-fi theme, they've hit it on the nail with the beats. Like
That aesthetic.
when like the first time I listened to it, just lying in bed and just listening to it, and it was just so cool because it was like it's just so spacey, and like you feel like you're on a spaceship when like some of the beats are just like a long bass drone, and you're like, okay, that's the engine of the ship just going like,
yeah.
and it's great. I just love it. I can't get enough of it.
It's a shame you got no visuals because
No.
Sam is bouncing around
I'm
like a little
I'm-
giddy girl over
Yeah.
here. He's loving
I'm
it.
like a little like gremlin on some
Now-
sort of drug. I'm so excited.
Let's burst Sam's bubble a little bit, because I do think there are a
Burst
couple of flaws with it. I like it. It took me a couple of listens to like it.
Couple listens to you.
No, I don't like it as much as Sam does.
Naughty.
But I like it. I appreciate the fact they were so ambitious with it,
Yes.
and I thought that they would be, you know, they'd be able to pull it off, and I think they did.
They did indeed.
The fact it's a pretty short album.
Yes.
Like it's like 40 minutes,
Yeah,
if that.
Yeah.
that was one of the things I was like, oh.
I wanted more.
Why is there not more?
Yeah.
But I kind of like that because the other problem, which I think you're going to say, is there aren't really any bangers on the album.
Now it's a concept album, so I don't expect
you
there to
don't
be any
expect
bangers.
bangers.
Air 'Em Out, I still think has a pretty good beat and a nice
It's
bounce
good,
to
good
it,
tune.
and it's got a good flow to it.
And
That was released ahead of the album.
Baby Don't Sleep, also very good, and
Baby Don't Sleep, like the opposite end of like the banger scale.
yeah, it's very
In
strange.
what way?
It's. I'm
Hard to describe.
Like
Yeah.
there's no real beat. It took me a lot of listens to get into.
yeah.
Okay.
Like when I heard it as a single, I didn't like it, but when I heard it
In
in
context,
the
of the album.
context of the album, I was like, "Ooh, this is nice."
Ooh.
But there's no real
Yeah,
beat.
got
It's
you.
just like noise.
Alright.
There's like a lot of static screeching, and
I'd say
then
that.
like some noise which sounds like wires being like plugged in or something.
Or
Plug it
all
in.
taken out
baby.
and jumbled
Yeah, and then like
together on the floor.
yeah, and then like some like
Sounds dank.
I don't know.
It
It's
is
very
pretty dank.
strange, but it's yeah. I
Now,
still say it's a banger, and then
you still say it's a banger.
yeah, and then what's the
Banger of a track.
what's the last song on the album?
A Better Place.
A Better Place.
Okay, my slight issue with The Better Place. I appreciate that they're trying to round it off
appreciate
with a more uplifting kind of
Yeah.
thing. I don't think David Diggs has got the best singing voice.
No.
I think his voice is a little bit shaky, and they're trying to cover
They're
up with
trying
some
to
effects in the
He
intro.
was singing here,
Yeah.
not rapping.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sings.
Right,
He sings more in
in
the
the
song,
He sings at the start,
Alright, got you.
and then after that,
and then
it's-
raps a little bit.
and then raps.
Verses.
Yeah, and then he does sing a bit more. But I don't know. Yeah, his voice isn't the best. I mean, compared to some of the other singing voices on the album,
Yeah.
he's not the best. But I'd say he's good enough.
While you mentioned singing voices on the album, let's talk about the last issue I have, which is Story 5.
Excuse
So, Story 5 doesn't follow the pattern that the previous stories on the release have followed, where it was David Diggs rapping at like the fastest flows that he's like capable of,
Yeah.
and telling
Yeah, but-
a short anecdote.
Yeah, and
which
it's
has got,
really like it's quite hard to follow
But
the
in fact-
first couple of times
yeah.
you listen to a story because he's just going.
yeah,
and
it
you-
packs a surprising amount of like emotional power into it though. Like the instrumentals like suit it really, really, really well.
Yeah.
For example, Story 2 from Klopong,
Yeah,
which is all about someone who's a serial arsonist and who
And then
then returns
arson
home to
about.
find that someone is burning his house
He's
down
burning his house down with his kids inside.
with his kids inside.
Damn.
Karma's a bitch.
Sad times.
Yeah, Karma is
Sad
a bitch.
times.
Sad times.
F to pay respects. And all
Pay
that.
respects to the arsonists.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty interesting story, and like right towards the end of the song, the synth leads that
Like, get quicker
like,
and
they
louder.
get quicker and they build up in volume
Alright.
and they get more intense, and there's this rising tone in the background which kind of sounds like that like THX old movie intro. I don't know.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
remember.
I'm
There's
kind
like
of
that in the background.
yeah.
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 Story 5 is nothing like either of those.
Story 5 is like gospel singing.
It's
Really?
it's an old like slave shanty.
It's a
or
slave
whatever.
shanty.
Oh.
It's-
And I like, the singing voices are very good on it.
it's a
there is a story there.
Yeah.
But I felt that
yeah.
it broke up the flow of the album a little bit. I wasn't expecting it.
I know what you mean. I wasn't expecting it either, but for some reason I think it fits in the sort of
The
style
whole
of
story
the album somehow.
Oh, no.
Because
Is there like
I can't
parallels
explain
between
it,
it and other
but
stuff?
I think
in the
it
album?
is just the fact that it's sort of. It's hard to explain. I literally
We're a
don't,
good podcast.
I
We're really
literally
good.
don't know why it fits in the, because it's complete polar opposite of anything else in the album other than.
It's
the,
about
the
a war
other
being
slaves.
fought overseas.
Yeah,
Okay.
and about Grace.
Grace.
Now you see, Grace was
Grace
mentioned
Kelly.
in previous story tracks, and I think that as
Grace.
more
No, Grace was I think a different Grace is
Was it a
mentioned
different
in
Grace?
story
Okay.
one. Because Grace in story one, what happens in story one is a guy's annoyed at his sister called Grace, who is getting off with some guy outside a club, I believe, and then they go off in a taxi, and then yeah, exactly.
They do
Just
that.
like that.
They
Yeah.
do some of that.
Bit of-
Hardcore
bit of
some of that.
yeah. and then they get in the back of the taxi, and then the taxi crashes. Grace dies, and this guy's just sad that the last memory of his sister is him being mad at her getting off with some girl. Whereas in story 5, Grace discovers something, and that's what leads to her death.
I think in a few more, after maybe 1 or 2 more clipping albums,
You probably need a few more
Yeah,
story
we'll
pieces,
be able to
right?
see some more.
Because you've got part 1
yeah.
and 2, and
we've
you've
got
got
part
part
5,
5. So you
so
need
you've got 3 and 4.
you need to fill in the pieces,
Apparently
right?
4 is like a remix of something.
Wait,
What I saw in a YouTube comment, it's not going to be a clipping song, it's going to be like, it's already released and it's somewhere.
And we need to find it.
Play a song
Well, not
backwards.
you need to find it, but it's like, it's been confirmed to be like a song by a completely different artist.
What
Whoa.
the hell?
But who,
That's
that
pretty cool.
might just be bullshit that I read in a YouTube
On the
comments.
internet.
'Cause, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
I shouldn't really be trusting YouTube comments as
No.
gospel at, you know, ever in my
Exactly.
life.
We're gospel. That's what this podcast is. That's how it is.
And story 5 is gospel.
Yes,
Story 5 is
Sung
gospel.
in, sung in gospel. Great transition.
It all comes
sound.
full circle.
10 out of 10. Yes.
I like it.
So album of the year, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's a little sad that it's quite short, but at the same time, it needs to be. It's because it's a concept album. It needs to be listened to as a whole. So you don't want it to be like an hour and a half, 2 hours long to get the whole experience. It's just like I just stick it on in the morning. I'm like, you know, I can get dressed, have breakfast, brush my teeth, whatever, and by that time,
Have a wank.
the
Go on.
that too. by the end of doing all that, the album will be over, and then I can, like, you know, it's not like I need to devote my time to
Like
like,
the
be like,
Swans.
yeah, it's not
Like
like
Swans. I was going to say
Or Godspeed.
The Wall by Pink Floyd. Because The
Yeah,
Wall
The
is
Wall's
it
quite
was a
long.
big concept album. It's an hour and a half long, and
It
it's
is quite
it's pretty weighty, and it's difficult to sit
is.
through it.
yeah,
But you
can't-
you
When-
recognise a
if
lot
you're
of
not
things
in the
it.
right frame
That's
of
the-
mind
yeah.
for it,
exactly.
Drums.
It's something.
Frame of mind.
Yeah.
it
Go
does waffle on a little bit.
It does.
All the music on
Yeah.
it is still brilliant, but it
Yeah.
does waffle on a tiny bit.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's just like it's a nice little package. It's
Nice and
like- 'cause-
concise. There's no
'cause-
waffle.
Yeah.
Exactly. No waffles.
Apart
No
from
waffle.
maybe Story 5.
It, you know, it fits. It's a nice song. It's a lovely song. My one of my friends compared it to. I don't know if you've heard the fantastic concept album Drones by Muse. But at the
Do tell!
at the end of that,
What an album.
there is a song called Drones to round it off, which is for Matt Bellamy's. Matt Bellamy is the lead singer for all that don't know Muse,
Tom York ripoff.
and he is.
He's not really. He's not really.
I will stab you.
Mate, I'll stab you in your not lazy eye with my lazy eye. I'll like laser beam you. Or some crazy shit. I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
He's turning into a super drone.
Yeah, we've been
Turning
turned
into
into
a
Super Drone. Yeah, it's got some cringy lyrics, but
The lyrics are pretty bad. They're the turn off
yeah,
for me.
The cringiest point on the album is when you get to the final track, and it is for Matt Bellamy's doing this weird like choir
choir of himself.
boy. It's like and they're just singing like "Killed by Drones" over and over again. But it's like you're listening to it in a church, and it makes no sense. And I went to see him live. And they played this song fucking twice.
They played it twice.
They played it when they came on and when they left. And I was like, excuse me, I demand my money back.
I know how to make a good first
You need
impression.
to pay me to play me that fucking song. Thank you very much. It's trash. And my friend said to me, if you like Story 5, then you should like Drones.
What?
And I was like, you know, he's got a bit of a point. They are both oddballs on the album, but I feel like Story 5 links, or at least goes on with the motif.
If that last song was earlier on in the track listing, would that make a difference?
No, not at all.
Okay, it's just bad
Yeah,
song.
that's why I stuck it on the end. To be honest.
Okay,
pretty much.
it's just
Put
filler.
it on the end.
Yeah,
It wasn't long enough for the record company, so just
just add
add some crap
bit.
on the
Release a choir of yourself.
Why
Fair
not?
enough.
Why not do that?
Took him like a couple of
They
just
play it
an
live
afternoon.
twice.
Yeah,
These suckers have paid money.
yeah. Oh god.
Jesus.
But yeah, I think because it's sort of sounds slave shanty-ish, and
Back to clipping.
and the
Story
and the
5 this
yeah,
is.
not Drones. Drones is trash. Never listen to it. Delete it off if you've got.
Delete this.
If you've
KYS.
if
you
you've
listen to
got
it.
the CD of Drones, find the part of the CD which has Drones on it, and hit that bit with a hammer.
Without breaking the rest of it.
Yeah, without breaking the rest of it. You have to do it with a
Because if you
scalpel.
ruin the bit
Precision.
with Psycho on it, then you're dead to us.
Mate, Psycho is a fantastic song. Good anthem. Good anthem.
I still
rock.
can't believe they're
Relatively
playing it at
bangerish.
Post. They
good.
played Psycho by Muse when we were out at a club.
A club.
It was good. I loved that.
on a Sunday
I
night.
was,
It was quite
hyped.
fun.
It
I
was.
will
You
admit.
were loving it. You
And
were
I'm a
jumping up
massive
and down.
Radiohead fan.
I was.
so-
You weren't going. Oh, the lyrics in this song are just not good.
Okay,
enough."
Sam,
That's a fact.
let's
And
be
they-
real. I have never said that when I'm really drunk, I still think like that about music. 'Cause I don't think anyone does.
No, just enjoying the bangers. That's how
Be
it
like,
is.
The lyrics are fucking terrible.
Yes.
The lyrics are so cringy in like most Muse songs. That's the turn. I can't.
Yeah.
I just can't deal with
I'd
it.
say there are albums which have Drones is the low point for lyrics by Muse.
Yeah.
I would say, but
I haven't.
I
listened
just
to all that
like
stuff.
Drones a lot because it was after the second law, and Resistance was okay, but like they put out the second law, and it's like, come on guys, just go back to some like what you used
Rock
like,
music.
go back to some good old rock, get some like
They did
amazing guitar riffs in there, just like in
And then they
Absolute.
gave us Psycho,
Yeah.
Have
the
you
most
heard-
cock rock riff
have
I've
you
heard in a long
heard-
time.
Mate, when I first heard that song, I was so happy. I was like, Muse is back, baby.
Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you've not heard Reapers, that is a wonderful song.
It's pretty good. I have heard that.
Yes. Anyway, back to clipping. Oh,
Massive
going on
tangent.
so many Muse tangents
The Clothing album of the year.
so far.
Anything you're
Not
anticipating that
mine.
could beat it?
Run the Jewels 3.
Oh shit! Run the Jewels 3.
That'd be
We'll
good.
talk about that in a future episode when it
Yes.
comes out.
And it
definitely.
comes out, we talk
Yeah.
about it. That'll be good.
Yeah.
For me, my album's obviously my album of the year is obviously the latest Radiohead
Yeah,
album.
Moon Shaped Pool. That's
Very
up there
obviously.
for me.
But what
That's
about
in the top 3.
what about Skepta? Didn't he
Ooh,
win the
Skepta!
Mercury Prize?
He won that award, didn't he?
He did win that award that he
Yeah.
did win that
To
he
be
got.
honest.
Go on.
You know, that's probably the only album off the Mercury Prize with a song on it where I could recite every single lyric. So
Yeah, but like
Yeah,
infects your brain. You have
yeah,
like
but,
no
like,
choice.
in context, yeah, it's like
It's like you're being
one
forced to do
album.
that.
one album is about a guy dying. This album is about making you want to die.
That's a good selling point. I
Yeah.
like it. Give it a Mercury Prize.
Yeah.
Kill yourself and give it a Mercury Prize. Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty. I
Skepta.
killed myself so that Skepta could win
That's
the
not
Mercury
me.
Prize
That's not me.
to make it as tragic as Black Star.
Oh, that's sad.
Oh, Black Star.
Oh, Bowie.
We'll
Oh.
talk about favourite albums of the year later.
Yeah, we need to get into all of this. We're very much album people as well. That's a side note. We like a good banger when we're drunk. We do love a good banger.
Young Wayne.
But we're Young Lean. We'll talk about Young Lean as well. That's a whole story for a whole another day. Me. We'll get Nick on the podcast to do that. He's one of
We
our
will.
housemates. and he
We're
loves
gonna
it.
get more people on this because
Yeah.
this is still a fairly narrow like musical scope that we have.
Yeah, we do. We have similar tastes,
And that's kind of
Not
the
very-
issue, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll think of something. But
Yeah,
I think we're done here.
I think we're wrapping up. I think we've got to the end of what we want to say about these two topics, which we've taken a million tangents off of.
Yes.
Especially the Muse one. Holy shit, Sam.
That was a long. That was
I'm
almost.
sorry, I
You made.
fucked it all up. No.
It's fine.
You made
The
there be
podcast's
3
going down the
segments.
drain.
It's just now it means we
On
won't
the
have a
first
Muse episode.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Nah.
No, I want to.
We
I want
need
to
to
complain about Muse.
Nah, we need
I'm
to
a
do-
Radiohead fan.
yeah.
I'm supposed to hate music on Holiday, and I do. I do a little bit. I'm sorry.
But next episode though, we're going to talk about a couple of other things.
Ooh.
Preoccupations.
Yeah.
They released a
upcoming.
new album,
Preoccupations.
formerly known as Viet Cong.
Triggered.
If-
Triggered.
And
Triggered.
if you're offended
You're
by
not allowed-
that, you could stop listening.
You're not allowed,
You
you're
would've
not
stopped
allowed to say
listening
that.
ages ago.
Triggered.
Yeah.
Change the name.
Mike and I are going to go see them live soon.
We are. We're gonna go see them. Sam, you should
I'll
come.
probably come.
In
yeah.
November,
Get a
I
Sam
need,
ticket.
might
I need
come
to buy
along.
my ticket.
That'll be good.
My God,
We'll give you full updates, maximum updates on how that gig goes.
And then
It should
we're going
be
to
good.
talk about a classic.
Classic
We're going to talk
album.
about good old Neutral Meme Hotel.
Neutral Milk Hotel. What a meme.
And if you don't know what we're referring to,
love you, Jesus
Yeah, we're very much into meme music. That's another
that's
thing
a
we
whole
like.
nother episode.
That's also a whole nother episode. We've got lots
Yeah.
of content to talk about because we ramble.
Yes.
We ramble
Because
about our
we're
stuff. we love.
degenerates.
And we hope you love us. That's all we hope from this first episode. To be honest,
Because if you've listened to this whole thing, I love you.
yeah. To be
Because
honest.
to be honest, I couldn't listen to this whole goddamn episode.
Please marry me
Absolute
if you're
shite.
listening. I want you, me, right? Bjork and Tom York. You, me, Bjork and Tom York. That is the sales pitch I'm offering. Please, just like contact me, please. I'm really, really desperate. I really want this.
Message up on Kick.
This is an SOS. This is
Message-
seriously.
Send
Call
us
the
a message
police.
on Kick. What is
Kick me, please. Like kick me. I really want you to. I really need help as
What's-
well. I need
what's
help.
our flipping fake Kick name that we made? Slimy Twink 911 or something like
Yeah,
that.
kick me on Slimy Twink 911. That's Slimy Twink 911. Many sexual times will ensue.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Sexual times.
Julian fucking hates this. I can see it in his eyes.
This has been
I'm
chaos.
tempted to
I like the bit about Bjork, but then you just had to talk about the weird crap you posted on Reddit earlier.
Well, you know.
I'm tempted to like do my sales pitch for a hot, sexy evening, but I feel like
Go on.
Julian might throw himself out a window.
Yeah, we are near a
We
window.
are.
I mean, the
Right
road
next
is
to-
just there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you might get hit by a car. It would be like a
Oh
dragged out
no!
thing.
What if that's not the plan?
You'll be very painful, but it'll be probably
And
better than this
that
podcast.
wouldn't be good. That
Not
wouldn't be
gonna
good
lie.
if Julian dies,
Yeah.
because like that's one less friend. I haven't got many, to be honest.
True.
Down to 0.
Mike,
Got him.
Mike,
Got
fight
him.
me. Fight me, cunt.
I've always got Tom York and Bjork.
Yeah, me too.
And you as well, of course. Especially you.
You're fucking vile. Fucking disgusting.
I think that is the perfect note to end on. I think that is...
Well, we'll see you in the next episode where we talk about hopefully some more normal.
yeah,
things.
so...
and more about how Mike is fucking vile.
Mate, I'm going to add people to my gangbang list. That's next episode.
That's the only reason.
Preoccupations, my gangbang list, Neutral Meme Hotel. Join us then. I love you. I love you forever.
Alex Turner, please text me. Please.
Stay away
Can
from
we
me,
talk
Alex.
about Alex Turner in the Arctic Monkeys episode, please?
He's a sex god,
Right.
Yeah, okay, fine.
I think we should call the end on this. This
Yeah.
cancel. It's
Say
pure,
thanks.
pure rubbish that we've made.
Exercise this tumour by pressing stop on Audacity.
Bye.
We'll be back.
No. We'll be back.
We'll be back.
We'll kill the dinosaurs. The ice age.
Bjork.
Oh god.
You
Yeah.
do an outro. I can't do it. We're procrastinating it.
Yeah.
We're done here?
We're done.
Yes.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Okay, good. See you next week, everyone.
Fuck's sakes.
Bye.